This is a statute that would prescribe Earthquake Remembrance Day as a day that's set in our statutes with the appropriate remembrances, flying the flag at half-mast, and hopefully promoting activities, remembering how to be better prepared, and also as a very solemn remembrance of the 15 Alaskans who perished from the actual earthquake and the 113 Alaskans who perished from the following tsunamis. It's certainly not celebrating that we had an earthquake as much recognizing it and recognizing the spirit and the response of Alaskans as they coped with the immediate disaster and the following disaster. How a community rebuilt Valdez and has become an economic center of the state. How a community on Kodiak Island, Port Lions, with the assistance of the Lions Club, assistance outside of government, and had such a appreciation they renamed their community in recognition of that international service organization. I'd like to say I have real sharp memories, having been alive in the earthquake, but I was about 2 years and 8 months old, and my memory wasn't quite as refined at that date, so it didn't get cataloged. And I wouldn't want to rely on what my mother told me I remembered, because that can be a little faulty. But there's a lot of members of this body experienced this event, and it's really it is really a tribute to. There were people that lost their lives in responding to this. We had some very eloquent testimony from Mr. Volante, who was he lost his flight crew that was responding to an emergency. It touched a lot of people, and it brought a lot of people together at an event a couple of years ago in Palmer. Somebody I don't really have no political fraternization with, and Judge Beverly Cutler, a Superior Court judge, came up and said, "My husband held you during the earthquake," and I was kind of baffled by that. And her husband was our neighbor and was a young man at the time, and I don't know, we probably had a lot of people. I have 9 siblings. Some of them weren't yet born here, but probably a lot of neighbors helping hold us, a bunch of the urchins that comprised my family. But this is a significant event in Alaska's history, not as transformative as other events, but you could look at it economically in Anchorage. Anchorage was really in the doldrums before the earthquake, and just like the Exxon Valdez, a tragedy allowed a rebuilding. A lot of folks that know a lot about economics say without that earthquake and the infusion of new capital rebuilding that city, it revitalized not only Anchorage but the state. And that's what this is celebrating, the opportunity, how we responded after the earthquake, and how Alaskans working together with help from our friends from outside as well, all the way to nonprofits, service organizations, and the Lions responded and did good things in the aftermath. And in the tsunami, I'm glad one of my very best friends, his mother is chronicled riding the rooftop in Resurrection Bay, a pretty harrowing night, and had not they survived that, I wouldn't have one of my best friends who comes down here and coaches hockey clinics. Linda McSwain and her family hung on for dear life, and it was chronicled on the front page of the New York Times. And I'm glad there was perseverance on that individual case, because I wouldn't have one of my best friends if his mom hadn't been so tenacious in protecting her family as well as a young teenager. A lot of great stories in the aftermath along with the tragedy, and commend my friend from Anchorage who has brought this groundbreaking, earth-shaking legislation before us.